The officer performed a search on the defendant, locating a 9mm Glock 19, and the defendant advised he bought the gun from a friend for $150.
Hi, Judge. Is this young man charged with unlawful carrying of possession? Here's the Fifth Circuit saying that it's unconstitutional. Here is the United States District Court, Northern District, saying it's unconstitutional.
You know, sometimes you make a decision in life and it can really have consequences, all right?
Hello, viewers. Dave Epstein here from the Post-Pollock firm. Today, we're going to look at one of my favorite judges, Judge Fleischer. He's down in Texas. I'm going to show you this video. I want you to see how a good judge handles a courtroom, and also actually a good lawyer. This is basically a video where the judge was sort of ferreting out what happened. As I understand it, was a young man who pulled a gun, but he saw somebody charging at his relative, and it turned out to be a police officer, and apparently under Texas law or somewhere, he wasn't committing a crime. But watch this video, and I'll tell you afterwards, you should watch this judge, because I like the way this man runs his courtroom, and he does the right thing, and I'll explain later. Here we go.
Saw a male rushing at his brothers with a knife, pulled out his gun, and pointed it at the male while telling his brothers to run. The officer performed a search on the defendant, locating a 9mm Glock 19, and the defendant advised he bought the gun from a friend for $150.
I mean,
Yes, Judge. In this case, the officer was going off the fact that he performed the search because he indicated there was a firearm. So
he's going to the defense of others.
Yes, Judge.
It's another person.
And it's just the way this is pled is because he's underage. He's below the age of 21. That's the way it's pled, Your Honor.
You hear this?
Hold on. I'm going to go yell at somebody. Hold on. Hi, Judge. Is this young man charged with unlawful carrying of possession for being under 21?
Correct.
Hold on. I've got a kit. Here's the DPS
But I'm
memo.
more concerned about the defense of others. Did you hear it? I mean,
No, hold on.
hold on a second.
Here's DPS.
Let me give you a lawyer, Mr.
Yeah. Oh, I volunteer. Representation. Yeah.
Give me a record, can you fill that out, please?
I will do that. But here's a DPS memo saying that it's
Hold on a second.
unconstitutional.
You know, representative gentleman?
Oh, hell yes. Here's the Fifth Circuit saying that it's unconstitutional. Here is the United States District Court, Northern District, saying it's unconstitutional. Here's a motion to quash information. I'll just cross out the name.
Great job.
Yeah, I had to get in this fight yesterday, and I'm teed up.
Here you go, Mr. Tito.
Thank you.
Judge.
I was
is
gonna,
there PC?
yeah, look, you gotta be very careful. You know, God forbid something happens where you really dig yourself a hole. I'm gonna find no probable cause, but really, you have to be very careful. You know, sometimes you make a decision in life and it can really have consequences, all right? You know what that means, right? Are you in school? It all starts with school, man. You got to get back into school. This is not a good way to go through life. The more schooling you have, the more money you're going to make. Knowledge is power, my friend. Do it. Make something. Make me proud. Please. You got it. It's going to get dismissed. Be careful, friend.
Yeah. Literally have all that on because I have a case in another court.
I was going to find no PC anyways. So.
All right, folks. You saw it. That was Judge Fleischer. I watch a lot of this man's videos. I really like him. He's got the balance that you need in a judge. He's tough when he has to be tough. He's fair when he can be fair. He's really looking out for a lot of these defendants and trying to get them on the right course. And here he had a young man who was being charged with weapons possession, which can be in any state, and Texas included, a very serious offense. The boy was underage. And Judge Fleischer, as the prosecutor, is reading off the charges, and the boy was unrepresented. Appears he did not yet have an attorney. I think the judge was about to ask him if he should appoint one for him, and then an attorney jumped up. But the judge was already saying, wait, this is the defense of others. Now, the little I know of this, again, it was a a police officer, but I think he must have been plain clothes, who was going after his brother or a relative. He told him to run, and then he pulled a gun on him. Now, it was an illegal gun, and there was some issue with the constitutionality of arresting because of a gun underage, so on and so forth. Texas has some funky gun laws. I'm not familiar with all of them. But the judge asked questions that were designed or steered it so that he was going to make sure that this kid had a fair hearing. I'll add this. I'm going to say one thing. That kid did what I would like a client to do. He just stood there and kept his mouth shut, and he waited to see what was unfolding. And then that lawyer, like a knight in shining armor, just came running up, and people will probably wonder, what were all those things he was pulling out? He appeared to be pulling out cases and rulings, probably from state agencies. I don't know who DPS is, but that were talking about this law about possessing a gun under the age of 21 and so on and so forth. And Judge Fleischer said, well, this is great. He was kind of laughing. This is great that you're addressing that issue, but I'm not finding probable cause anyway because I think he was in defense of another. The point here, folks, is very simple. We love to have good judges on the bench. There's some great judges. But if you ever want to watch like a judge who's really got it going on, it's this Judge Fleischer down in Texas. Has the exact right touch and balance. I really admire the guy. I really like watching his courtroom. Some people like him, some don't. There's some controversy. I don't see much controversy. He's trying to be fair, but he will also be tough. He'll be fair to the prosecution too. He is not just looking to run anybody over. And in this case, this is what you want to see in court. Perfect example of what everybody should be doing, including the defendant, who should keep his mouth shut. And this kid did. And I hope he listened to Judge Fleischer and he stops carrying guns and starts getting his life together, because the next one he might not have that benefit. In any event, I hope you learned something from this. I hope you watch us, and I hope you watch Judge Fleischer. This is Dave Epstein signing off for Post Pollock. We will see you next time. Please hit like and subscribe, and please leave your comments. Bye-bye.